In today's video, we're going to go over the $200 Garmin X110 Dashcam. Let's get started. The Garmin X110 can film up to 140 degrees in front of your windshield. Not only that, but it's also able to record audio and it has a G sensor. So if you are in an accident, the video will be locked even if you forget to press the save button. Not only this, but it films in 1920 by 1080p, allowing you for high definition quality. However, sometimes the license plate does not actually pick up, especially if the car is far away. So if you see the car and you can see the license plate, although the camera can't see it, you should really just say out the name of the license plate, such as 8PXY or whatever it could be. In the previous video, we took a look at the Garmin Mini 3. Now, it is a whole lot different between the Mini 3 and the X110. The X110 has a built-in clarity polarizer, but unlike the Mini 3, which has just a button on the back and you have to connect to your phone in order to do the settings, this one, you're able to actually do it inside of the Dashcam itself because it allows you to have a 2.7-inch screen on the back. While the screen is not touchscreen, you're able to maneuver what is on the screen using the buttons on the right-hand side of it. On the left hand side is basically where the USB-C port is, and we're able to plug it in into your car. Okay, so I know I'm going to be getting questions about how do you set up the camera? How do you wire up the camera in my car? So right now I'm in a Honda Civic, and basically I have the dash cam right here so it's able to view the whole thing. Now your car engine does not have to be turned on. I do not have a key turned on right now to show you proof. There you go. So if I wanted to position it, and let's just say that I have no wire, the first thing I would do is not even get ready to stick it yet. I would just go ahead and move it around and make sure that it looks good. So if I want to go ahead and turn it on, right here on the right hand side of the buttons, as you can see, I would press and hold the top button. Now I'm going to go through before I do that. So the top button is your power button. You would press and hold. The one below that is your up arrow button. Right below that one is your down arrow button. And right below that one is your save or enter button. So let's go ahead and switch it to on. So I will go ahead and press and hold. And as you can see, the actual dash cam will turn on its screen with its little logo. And then it will show the view. So in my opinion, don't take my word, but I would like my dash cam to go from edge to edge. If it's not going edge to edge and covering the whole dashboard, I don't think the dash cam would be useful in that case. Now, talking about wires, how do you wire the dash cam? No matter what Garmin dash cam you use, most likely they're just going to be using the USB-C. So you won't be ever having issues in the future, and it uses a little ball joint point. The ball joint point is the one that's actually connecting to wherever you're going to mount it. So in this case, I am mounting it right here. And if I wanted to replace this one in the future with a new one, I just pull the X110 out and I reattach it to that little ball joint unless they change it in the future. Now, let's talk about wiring. So I have a USB-C cable right here. It goes up here. So just follow my finger. It goes up through here, so the wire is still visible. Now it's underneath this little slit on top of the windshield. So you route that through all the way. Now once you're here, well, most of you might be thinking to bring it downwards. On the Honda Civic, you can't really do that. On other older cars, you're able to do that. Now be aware, right here is your airbag. You bought a dash cam for accident reasons, right? So you shouldn't block your airbag. Common sense right there. So what you should do instead is go through this column right here. Now on some cars, if you pop this out, you're able to pop out the screw and easily put in the cable. So I didn't do that because it's easy. It should just easily be, you should easily be able to push in the cable with your fingernails. So I got the wire through here, then I pushed it in through that hole. So right now it's not visible because I pushed that in with my nail, right? Now, what happened next? So I have my cable right here, but it's still dangling. So then, right where you see this weather strip, you would want to shove it through this weather strip. That's what I love about these new cars. Through these weather strips, they actually allow you to put any type of cable in, whether it's a radio, ham radio, whatever it might be, communication services, lights, etc. You know. So right here is where you would want to roll through. So you would just take this with one fingernail, and boom, there you go. Can you see it? It's deep in there. You can't see it, but the cable is in there. Now I would keep on routing it from this joint all the way down beside the door. Beside the door, can you see that? So I would get it from here, beside the door. Keep it going until where this little gas part is. Let me lower my settings. So right about here, I can't tell this. Going one-handed. So right here where my finger is, I routed the cable to go down from the weather strip through down here by pushing it in, obviously. I went underneath the pedals. Now it's using an ODP port. What an ODP port is the onboard diagnostics. Most cars have OBD2, which has a little house shape. So currently, it should be right around here. So with that OBD2 port, I'm trying to find it. So with the OBD2 port, it's currently set to 10 minutes. So anytime it detects that somebody's in the car, it will actually go ahead and turn on, or even if the engine is on. Now go ahead and test that too, because sometimes it might not turn on when you turn on accessory mode, or when you sit in the car, it will actually turn on when the engine is turned on. Now 24 hours would actually use your battery for 24 hours, literally what it says. For 10 minutes, it will literally shut off after 10 minutes after it detects no activity inside of the car. Now if you choose the loop button one, so you would slide that little switch to the loop, that means that it's always on. Now I don't recommend 24 hours or that loop switch, because what that means is that you're going to be draining your battery and you're going to be using a whole bunch. Now if you have two batteries, I guess it's safe, don't take my word, but that is an option right there. So what the end of the OBD2 port is basically a USB area that you're able to actually plug in and will supply power to your actual car itself. So what this light is right now is basically a little bit of a timer, and it's also letting us know that it's supplying power to the dash cam itself. right there. Now, other ways, other than the OBD2 port, is that you go behind all these pedals. Do not go in front. If you go in front, what are you doing? If you go in front, you're putting yourself in danger, really. You need to put it right behind actual pedals, and you would keep routing it to your dashboard where you would see a cigarette lighter, whether it's like a little adapter like this or straight into the actual car itself. Now, some of you might be seeing a port like this, a USB cable where it says USB. Now, do not use that. For a dash cam, do not use that, because it will keep thinking that you're trying to transfer files from the dash cam, and you don't want to do that with a computer. Usually that cord is for when you're connecting to your phone and you want to play music, but the dash cam's not playing music, so we don't want that. Again, you just want to plug straight into the cigarette lighter, plug with the USB adapter, or something like this, where I see a USB port, or a little power brick with a USB input. Well, every single dash cam has the feature that if it detects an accident through its G sensor, also known as gravity sensor, that it will also lock the footage. While this dash cam has that, and all the other dash cams on the market has that, the one main difference is that it has a lane detection system. So if you're actually changing your lane, or you're not aware that you're actually moving outside of your lane, the dash cam will at least 99% of the time tell you that you're leaving your lane.
The other one, does it alarm too?
The Mini 3, no.
Does it give any alarm?
It gives an alarm if you run a light. Yeah, or run a stop sign. Now, that is one thing. The second thing is that it has forward collision warning. So especially if you're around the same age as me, like being 18, a young teenager, all that stuff, if you're around my age, that is definitely going to be very helpful, especially if you can't even detect with your own eyes while you're on the road if a car is going to stop right in front of you. Because through my experience with this dash cam, every time the forward collisioning turns on or alerts me, it's because the car, like I don't see the car is going to stop yet, but in 3 seconds the car is actually going to stop in front of you. So that definitely is really, really helpful over time, especially when you're just driving. Alrighty, so right here is the Garmin Dashcam itself. So let's just say that I want to go ahead and save a video. I can either say one of the commands, hey Garmin, save video. Now the next command is called stop audio. So hey Garmin, stop audio. And what that does, it actually stops recording audio. Now I do not recommend that you turn this off. I recommend that you turn this on, because in the police report, if it says that you're saying something inside of the car and you need evidence for that and it's turned off, well, you actually have no evidence at that point. Hey Garmin, record audio. Now what that command is that it will actually go ahead and enable the command to record audio while recording video at the same time. Now the last option is not on the Mini 3, it's only on either the X10 1080p or the version with the 4K, or possibly any newer ones. So I would say, hey Garmin, start travel lapse. And now I'll go ahead and start the time lapse. So if you go ahead and turn off the car and the dash cam turns off itself, and you're going to continue your drive, it will also ask you a question whether you want to continue the time lapse or not. So if I want to stop the time lapse right now within one drive, or even at any time, I can literally just say, hey Garmin, stop travel lapse, and it'll go ahead and stop the time lapse. Now let's go ahead and press on the buttons on the side. So in order to get to the settings, I would press on the down arrow, and you can see right here, the first thing that you can see is gallery. So I'll go ahead and press on the save button. Right here, it says dashcam recording alerts are disabled while viewing the gallery. View gallery, go ahead and enable that. And basically you can see your saved videos and temporary videos in here. So let's go ahead and go to this video. So if I want to go ahead and play the video, just go ahead and press on save again. And it was a 1 second clip, so of course it's going to be a little bit short. Now if I want to go back 30 seconds, no, if I want to go back 10 seconds, I would go ahead and press on the up arrow. Now I'll press on save, and it will just go ahead and go back 10 seconds. And it will be the same if you want to do 10, or if you want to disable the audio or not, depending on how loud you want the video to be played inside of the car. And there's also the trash icon, so there's going to be no or yes. We will click on yes to delete that clip, and you're able to delete the clip right there. Let's go ahead and go to the back arrow. The back arrow is the power button. We'll do that one more time. Temporary videos is basically your unsaved videos at this point. Right here is the Garmin Drive app, so if you want to connect your actual dash cam to the Garmin Drive app. Most of you should already know how to use it by now. If not, go ahead and download the Garmin Drive app, go ahead and create an account, click on Garmin Dashcam, and pair to this with Bluetooth turned on. Now here in settings, you can see that there is camera. Here in camera, the resolution is set to 1080p, 30 frames per second HDR. The other version is 720p, which is 1280 by 720p, 30 frames per second HDR. Currently, it's set to 1080. Incident detection, I recommend that you set to high sensitivity, so whether there's a small incident or a small bump or anything like that, you have it recorded. Record audio, again, I would recommend that you turn it on right here. Data overlay, data, date and time, location and speed. If we go ahead and enable that right here from what I've said earlier, if it has been shown in the video, if not, sometimes speed and location can be inaccurate. So with the power of just pressing on the save button, you can actually disable both of those in your video. In this case, we will be actually enabling both of these. Right here is temporary videos, delete when full. If you press it on again, it would say promptly delete. Now if you go ahead and select on promptly delete, basically what it says is temporary videos will be deleted, travel lapse recording will stop. Go ahead and click on delete. And it's going to be showing this little loading icon of some sort. Probably just deleting those little travel lapses. Okay, and then we will go ahead and switch to delete when full. So what that means is that when the SD card is full or your storage card is full, it will go ahead and delete the last clip within that file to make space for new ones. Exposure value, so this is like how bright you want the camera to be, like the video feed. If I go ahead and bring this to +2, you can see that the camera is a lot brighter than it usually is. If I put it on -2, you can see that it's a lot darker. I like setting it to 0 because no matter the brightness, it's still able to capture it. Format card is if you want to format your SD card for all of the videos and folders. Right underneath that is driver assistance, so let's go ahead and click on that. Right here is camera placement. So usually throughout setup, it will ask you whether it's on the horizontal setup, which means it will ask you whether the camera is in the left-hand side of your car, right-hand side of your car, or right in the center. This is right in the center, so it's placed on center. Vehicle height is set to normal for car. If you have a truck or van, you would click on tall. Underneath that, you would see for collision. Now I like to set that to high because any warning available will actually be very useful. While it is happening every single day because the roads are dangerous, it makes total sense because as long as you get an alert and you're aware of what's going on, I am cool with that. So right here, what a go alert means is that if the traffic in front of you is stopped at a stoplight, and then all of a sudden you get the green light and the traffic is going, it will actually alert you, hey, you should actually go. While it might not say text to speech, it will give you a little beep or a little buzzer. Right here is lane departure. So currently it is enabled for above 40 miles per hour. Right under here is Garmin red light cameras. So it will do little audio alerts. Currently you're able to set it on a continuous or single tone. Currently it's set on single tone. I'll go ahead and go back. There's also alerts, which is basically the Garmin red light cameras. So if there's a red light and there's a camera, it'll go ahead and let you know. Right here is update, so that's if you ever want to update the map. So currently it says current Garmin red light and speed camera data is available at www.garmin.com/express. Okay, we'll go ahead and go back. So right below that is parking guard. This feature monitors your parked vehicle and alerts you if the camera detects an impact. So let's go ahead and go through that. Right here, it is enabled. By default, it is disabled. Auto start is 5 minutes, so that's how many minutes until it will actually start itself. Impact sensitivity, I set mine to high. Monitoring time is 8 hours. Run on battery. This dash cam actually has a battery on itself. Record before incident. Now, record before incident requires external power. So that's either your cigarette lighter is turned on or either you're connected to the OBD2 port. Let's go ahead and go back. Right below here is Wi-Fi. You're able to connect to your Wi-Fi network. Now, the only thing is that if you connect to your Wi-Fi network, you would have to pay a monthly subscription. Now, I am unsure how much it is. It's called the Garmin Volt. Right below here is display and volume. My volume I currently set to 100%. By default, it's set to 70. In my opinion, 70% is quite low, especially with music inside of the car. So I went ahead and made the volume 100%. The saving video tone. Now, this is important, especially while you're driving with your two hands on the steering wheel. You would want to know when your video is saved and if it's actually saved. Although it does have an unsaved folder, this does make your life easier when you need to look back at it. Right here is auto brightness. So what auto brightness does is to make sure that your actual camera is doing its proper thing with brightness, especially with the screen right here. Color mode, I set mine to auto. Others is day and night. So if I go ahead and click on night, it would make the screen nighttime. If I click on date, it will make it look white. It's basically the same thing as an iPhone. Display timeout, so this will actually time out in 1 minute. Now I could click on never, but the risk that you might face is that with never, if it ever overheats or if it ever makes the video laggy, it's not gonna help you. So I would just keep the display off so it can actually focus on recording. System, regulatory, units, time. So right here in regulatory is basically the little FCC compliance and so forth. Units is set to miles. You can also put it in kilometers. Time is set to 12 hours. There's also 24 hours and UTC. Language is set to American English, and there are all these other languages right here. And so forth. Right here in the about section is basically your name of the camera, model, hardware, unit ID, software version, and text version. Alright, below that is your reset button. So if you ever want to return it, go ahead and click on reset and go ahead and follow the reset process in order to reset your dash cam settings and anything else that might be connected to it. So right there is our settings. The next tab is voice control. So that's basically what we went through earlier, where you say, okay Garmin, hey Garmin, or Dashcam. So any one of those is basically going to allow you to use it. As long as it's enabled, it will allow you to do so. Now the wake word, you're able to change it to either one of those two. You don't have to say okay, you can also say hey, and so forth. Language is set to American English. Right below that is your travel apps. The travel apps feature creates a short video of your journey to share with your friends. Recording a travel apps video does not stop Dashcam recording. Alrighty, so I went ahead and plugged in the micro SD card from the Garmin X110 Dashcam. So right here on the top we see a DCIM folder, and right here we see where it says Garmin. So in between these two folders, let's go ahead and open up Garmin. Right here in Garmin, it's basically the card format info. If we open that, it's a card format time. So this will let the device know and document what time it was formatted. Resume is basically a little codec for it, and another little codec right here. Let's go ahead and enter DCIM. Here in DCIM, as you can see, there's an event, saved, Park M, TLPSE, and unsaved. So here in 100 event, it's basically for little like clips here and there. Let's go ahead and go back. Currently there's nothing in that folder. So let's go ahead and go to 102 saved. Here in 102 saved is every time that you saved the dash cam. So every time you save the clip by pressing on the button on the right hand side, the last button on the bottom, that will actually save right there. Or when you give it the command to go ahead and save the video. So throughout all of these videos is basically when that command was set. Now right here it's 103 Park M. What 103 Park M is for when you're connected to your car using the constant power cable. And this is for every time that you park. So if we go ahead and look at the thumbnails right here, you can see that the car is parked. So throughout this whole time, if anything happens, whether you're to enter the car, leave the car, or somebody hits your car, as long as it's on or detects motion, it's able to work as a little security camera. So I find that really cool. Let's go ahead and open up 104 TLPSE. What that means is time-lapse. So if we enable like Garmin to do the time-lapse, now this does not work on the Garmin Mini 3 or the smaller versions without a screen. It only works on the X110 1080p, and I believe it also works on the 4K. So if I go ahead and click on 104 TLPSE, which means time-lapse, you can see that there's a file right there, and that file will be a time-lapse generated by the camera. Now, in the car, if you tell it to start the time-lapse, it'll start the time-lapse for quite a long time, until you actually say stop. So if you park somewhere for a little rest break, then it's going to ask you another question, whether you want to continue time-lapse or not. It'll also record the dash cam like normal. Let's go ahead and go back to DCIM, and right here the last one is 105 saved. Let's go ahead and open this up right here. So what 105 unsaved means is basically the raw video clips. Now each video clip has about 2 minutes worth, so 1 to 2 minutes worth of videos from when you are driving. So after I pulled up that random clip right there, right here is a Garmin watermark. This is the month, day, year, hour, minute, seconds, AM or PM. So this has happened in the afternoon. This is longitude, this is latitude. So this is basically where the location is that you can pinpoint on the map, and this is how fast you are going on that road. So I find that really cool, because if you ever get a police report that says that you weren't in the location on time, or says that you're in a different location, you can use this pinpoint right here from the GPS located on the Garmin and embedded in this video to say that you are actually on the road at this time. Not only that, but if you get a police report that says that you were over the speed limit or under the speed limit, well, you can also go to your video camera footage from this dash cam, and it will tell you how fast you are going. And in this case, it's 35 miles per hour on this road. Okay, so I was looking through some of the footage, and what I find interesting from this clip is that the car is actually still parked, the power was on, but it says that you're going 35 miles per hour? Let's go ahead and have a look. You saw that, right? So the car went ahead and locked itself, but it says that we are going 23 miles per hour in a parking spot. The good part with this is, even though it says 23 miles per hour, you have the actual video that shows that you're actually parked or slowing down. But this may not be out. I hope it's not that badly accurate. So basically, in this case, when it's on constant power mode, or when you're actually parked, and it just randomly turns on because something happens, because as you can see here on the first part, you can see the watermark, the date, and the time. Now, if we slowly go ahead and move this right around 15 seconds, so right around 15 seconds, then it shows the location and how many miles per hour you're going. Then if we keep scrolling, not yet, but within a few milliseconds, it says we're going 26 miles per hour in a parking spot. So what I hope is that this is not inaccurate. So if anybody works at Garmin or knows, whenever you're driving, this should be accurate. If it's not accurate, it could put you in jeopardy or like in big trouble of some sort, even when you're following the speed limit. So let's just say that you're following the road at like 25 miles per hour, but this stupid thing says 40. That's not gonna be good. So I hope that's not the case. Also, by the way, if your dash cam keeps showing an error when you're setting it up, or for the X110, if it keeps asking you which country you live in, what you speak every single time you turn on your car, stop and return that dash cam. Get a new dash cam and set that up. Because every time you turn on your car, it should not be saying that message. Now, if you bought it again and it still says that message, what the issue might be is that you're plugging in the USB-C connected on a dash cam towards a USB port directly to the actual computer on the car itself. Now, you don't want to do that at all. It's either going to the cigarette lighter, a little adapter from the cigarette lighter into a little USB adapter so it can get power, or either through Garmin's ODP port. Hey, if you really enjoyed this video and find it very informational, don't forget to subscribe right here for more videos like this one, or go ahead and watch this video right here. You might find it really interesting. I'll see you soon.